TALKNTALK since April. Yes, I'm here today because I want to improve my pronunciation and my English skills. Next month, I will start in a new job, in a new company, in a multinational. And I'm really happy about this because in the last week, I did my first English interview in English, and was very, very nice. I will start in this company in the next month, so I never thought about this because I never studied English before, and it's really, I'm really excited about this, and I'm really proud of myself. And I want to say that here in TALKNTALK, I improve my communication. I think is that it's not only my English, my skills, and my pronunciation, but it's about make relationship and meet new people and these things. So it's really nice to be here.
I'm so happy to know about that, and thank you for sharing with us. And I have the same feeling about the TNT. It's a safe place to improve your communication, and we can practice the language. Yeah, in our case, it's in English, and that's it. I feel very comfortable to be here, and yeah, just remember because David, it's the first time. Yeah, David, the TNT, it's a platform, and I'm not a teacher. I'm a student like you, like Eric and Nayara, and we are here just to practice the language. Yeah, it's a safe place, and we have 10 questions. And for example, today we are talking about bilingual brand, but there are a lot of subjects, and it's a safe place because uh, anyone will judge you or correct you about anything. It's just for we have a connection, and it's the best place to practice the language, in my opinion, like Nayara said. And let's go, Eric. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hello, guys. Good morning. I am Eric. I am 20 years old. I'm living in Pernambuco, and I birthed in here. I'm not married, and I entered in this talking with a partner with a company called So Junior. And So Junior is a social voluntary when you learning about the technology and developing your skills with the guys involved. And I'm a curious people. I am good listening, and English is the first language that I study. And I don't know, in the future, maybe Germany. I think Germany is really hard, but I think that's a good idiom to listen. I don't know how, but I like it. And in the future, I have plans to get a job in the company. I don't know what the company, but I will search it. And I'm a people like cats, like conversations, like knowing about different assumptions, like a brain, like philosophy, like economy, financial, and technology. And technology is it's a lovely assumption. It's lovely to conversation, and I think it's it.
Okay, thank you for sharing with us, Eric. And yeah, I totally agree with you when you talk about technology. I think it's really important to talk about that nowadays. Yeah. So yeah, David, can you introduce yourself for us, please?
My name is David. I am 37 years old. I live in Rio de Janeiro. And I'm married. I have a son, a child.
Yeah.
He's 4 years old. And I work with technology. I am a security analyst, security information analyst.
Okay.
I work with firewalls and device protection.
Okay, we have a lot of, the most part of the guys in the talker, the most part of the talkers are working like in the technology or in that's the same area, yeah, like you. And I think it's a interesting point because the most part of the guys need to learn in English, yeah. So
Yeah,
nowadays
essential.
it's essential. Yeah, and I think like Eric learning English, but in the future he want to learn in Germany. Yeah, it's so hard, but it's a plan. Yeah, maybe for me, guys, I think when sorry, go ahead.
About Germany, I read a news. Germany is facilitating the migration because needs, como eu diria, mão de obra.
I don't know. Let me see. But go ahead. If you don't know any vocabulary, you can ask it, or we can say in Portuguese, okay? No.
Ok, é porque estão precisando de mão de obra qualificada.
Yeah, it's like to be prepared, to be like an opportunity. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a good one. So guys, how can I said before? Today we are talking about bilingual brand, and Nayara told you for us it's hard for him, for her because it's morning, yeah. And sometimes it's like it's not my day to talk in English because like my brain's very stuck, yeah. But in the other days it's very calm, it's very okay to talk in English. But let's start. And the first question, can you read for us, Nayara, and answer that question? Question number 1.
Yes. How does being bilingual enhance communication skills and overall language proficiency? After I start here and talk, I improve my communication in Portuguese. I have already had a very good communication, but sometimes I felt insecure to talk about myself, for example, and here in the immersions, I answered several times questions like talk about yourself, and today it is very easy for me to talk about it. And of course, if I know what I want to say in Portuguese, it's easier for me to express myself in English. And I'm saying this because I see people with difficult speaking English, but it's because they don't know how to develop a subject even in Portuguese, you know. And I think this is the problem when we talking about speak in English. And yes, I think when we start to learn a new language, English or Spanish or Germany, whatever, first, at least for me, I need to think in Portuguese, and then I will express myself in English, for example. And yes, I think is that when we are learning a new language, we need to know how to communicate better, you know, because the only thing that I want is that you understand me. And I think is that, you know, I just want to send my message, and if you get it, it's okay. And I think is that.
Perfect, Nayara. Yeah, I have the same point of view. And when you talk about to talk in another language, in this case, the English, for example, we need to think it's really important to know what do you want to say, what message do you want to send for the other person, yeah. And normally, like in during interview in Portuguese, we don't know about ourselves, yeah.
Yes.
So so it's really important. And guys, sorry about me. I will introduce myself because I forgot that. I'm Belle, but my name is Alberlene. It's my father name and mother names together, yeah. Because I'm from Fortaleza. Nowadays I live in Salvador, Bahia, and I'm a military. I work like a air traffic controller, and I'm here in TNT since the last year, yeah. And I start like a host in the beginning of that year. And I'm here, guys, just for have a good conversation, for network. And the TNT for me, it's like it's the best place to practice the language because the English in my life at the beginning was a challenge, yeah, like a emotional problem because I felt not enough to learn something. But nowadays, I know for us learning something, it's just necessary to practice the constance, yeah. All the days, every single day, we need to have some contact with the language. And TNT is that for me. That's opportunity to improve my language. And David, can you answer that question? The question number one. What do you think to be bilingual enhance your communication? What's the benefits to be a bilingual? Oh my gosh, your wife work. Oh my god, yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
she's a controller, a traffic controller too.
No.
No, she's a military or not?
She's psychologist.
Oh, psychologist. Yeah, we need a psychologist because my work it's really it's can be stressful sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. And by the way, guys, I start to learn English because my job requests me that. Like you, David, like you, Eric, Nayara, because nowadays it's really important to know other language. Yeah, English it's the first language in the world. So, and David, how can you? What do you think to be bilingual enhance the communication skills?
It's essential, né, in the global world, né? Tá no mudo.
I'm sorry. So, what do you think when you start to learning English? Do you realize to be a bilingual enhance your communication in Portuguese, for example, or not? Do you think it's not enhance your communication? What do you think?
I think it's the first, como eu diria, primeiro passo, step. The first
Yeah,
step
it's the first step.
is passar sua mensagem.
Okay, pass the message. Yeah. Okay. Don't
Yeah,
worry. If you don't say in English, we can talk in Portuguese. Okay.
okay.
And let's continue with Eric. What do you think about that? What do you think to be a bilingual enhance the communication?
Okay. When I training about to talk with me in this talking talk, I perceive that I understand a different perspective about me and communication with you about me, because I think when we use a language, we create our personality with you and different perspectives. I think it's really, really different. And I think it's a good point to consider. But in communication skills, let me see. I think you understand the different perspectives, and I think it's important because you will. It's necessary to consider different people, different cultures, and when you conversation in different idiom, you perceive different things and learning different things. And the idiom, I think it's a power that I didn't know about this. I didn't know about what the idiom can do in for me, and I think it is.
Perfect. Yeah. I have the same point of view like you and Nayara when you talk about when we start to talk another language, we start to know about ourselves. Yeah. And because normally, like us, we start the first language, like the Portuguese first, and in the second moment we start to learn the other language. And it's really common in my mind when I need to talk something in English, I think in Portuguese. Yeah, but it's not a good way to say something because we can understand the other point of view, the other language, like you said, Eric. And I agree with you when you talk about that. So, and about me, guys, I think is that when I don't know if that happened with you guys, but I'm shy person. But when I'm here and try talking English and in a YouTube and with other guys, and I don't have any problem in talking Portuguese yet because Portuguese I feel very comfortable to talk Portuguese. So normally I'm really afraid to talk in Portuguese for the other persons. But nowadays, when I try to talk in English with us, for example, I don't have any more. I'm not afraid to talk in Portuguese. Yeah, it's like Portuguese. It's my comfort zone nowadays, and I want to be like that in English in the future. Yeah. So the question number 2. Can you read, Eric, and answer for us, please?
Okay. What advantages does being bilingual offer in the job market and career opportunities? Well, like Davi said, in Germany, the people needed professional people to the job. And I think when you have a lot of idioms in talking, you will search a job, and I think you have more success to conquist a career, conquist a job. But let me see. I think it's a good point to consider when you learning a new language. You will enter the culture and enter a relationship with different people, and it's not necessary you will travel traveling another country, traveling another place. You will job in what you live. I'm living in Pernambuco. It's okay. I encountered a job to work. I don't know, England maybe.
Yeah, like
And
a remote place. Yeah, remote.
yeah,
work.
like a remote place.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's the best let me see, conquista.
Conquer. The best.
Conquer. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the best conquer that you will receive when you conversation in another language.
Yeah.
And I think it's that.
Yeah. Do you know it's really good when you start to talk with a native person and that person can understand you. It's like it's the best moment in our life. And
Yeah.
that motivated me a lot when I have opportunity to talk with another person. It's really important because we can realize it's not just the communication, it's not just to say or the words or the structure or the grammar. It's involved a lot of other factors, yeah, to have a good communication with other person. And I totally agree with you. Nowadays, it's so it's easy to work at home, like a home office, and work for another place, yeah, like another country, for example, and use the other language, yeah. What do you think, Nayara?
Yes, I think it's easier to work from home, but you need to study, because it's easier, but it's not so easy like that. We need to study another language, and you need to study about your area. Like I'm working the financial area, so I need to study about Power BI, Excel, and these things, and this is important. Yes, and I think it's helped a lot. I think much more than people imagine it, because I was approved. I think it's approved. I was approved in 3 companies, and this week I could choose where I want to work. And I fight a lot for this
Yeah,
and this year, and I spent like 6 months studying English, like every day. And uh yeah, and then I'm going to choose the company that I want to work, because my
perfect.
English it's good. I don't know everything, but I have to try. And now I gonna to serve customers for over the world, and
Yeah,
I have to say that I'm afraid to not be able to understand Indians, for example, because it's easier to understand, but I will try.
yeah,
And I think we need to be confident
yeah, confident.
about yourselves. And
Perfect.
I only got this job. I will work in the Bosch group, and I'm not fluent, because the interview says to me, oh, you are fluent, but I don't think I am. I don't know all the words in English, but I can,
But
like I said, I can communicate. And if
yeah,
you understand what I'm saying, I think this is the most important. And I see people who they have studied English for years, and the regular classes and these things, and not feel prepared to do an interview in English.
yeah,
And I think the point is, you need to be confident about yourself, and you need to know how to express first in Portuguese, and then you start to learn how to introduce yourself in English. uh,
perfect.
yes. And yes, I think it's that. And it's really, I am I love English, the language. I love to speak in English. And I think it's weird, because I think I am another person when I speak in English, because I am a little shy in Portuguese. I don't like to talk to people. I don't like to meet new people in Portuguese, but in English I like to have a good conversations and these things. So yeah, I think for me was not just for work, for my job, but was for my life. I
Yeah,
feel that I am a better person when I start to learn English. I feel more of course I feel more confident, but I don't know what happened. I think I want to take care about myself more. And when I start to study in English, also I start to do more exercise. For example, I start to take care about my mental health. I think it's important, and it's it's like a comb, I think. It's really good.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Nayara. Thank you for sharing with us. And I have a question. Do you have a English interview and all interview to get the job in the 3 companies?
Well, not. It was just in 2 interviews, but
Okay.
yes, was a challenge for me, but was really nice, and not was so hard, you know, because the most of people create a monster about
Yeah.
the English interview. It's not that, you know. You of course you need to prepare for the interview, and
Perfect.
I make a lot of videos, you know, just I need to start answer. So tell me about your weakness and these things, you know, the most questions that the interview did in the interview. So yes, I think is that we need to be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah, you are prepared to do that, yeah. And congratulations, yeah. I'm very proud. I'm really happy when you talk about that, because I know it's when you, like you said, there are different advantages, like a benefits to be a bilingual, because when you start to learning other language, it's like that's that can be connected when you are a disciplined person, yeah. Like, oh, I start to do exercise, for example, because you know, when you study all the days, every single day, you have some contact with the language, you can improve a little, yeah. And because when you don't talk in English, like 1 week, or you have some days without language, we can realize you are a little stuck to return, because it's like your brain need a time to switch the language, yeah.
Yes.
And so thank you for sharing with us. It was amazing to know about that. And I have the same point of view. It's like Eric said, when we start learning English, we change the perspective about a lot of things in the world, yeah. You can, it's like open the your mind open, yeah, and you are able to learn a lot, because there are a lot of documents, there are a lot of videos, movies, and a lot of things in English. And sometimes you don't have, it's not possible to know in Portuguese, for example. So what do you think, David? Do you think it's necessary to learn English, or to talk in English, to have a good job nowadays?
For me, it's essential in my field, technology, information security, it's essential. Documentation, certifications,
Yeah,
needs English.
maybe.
About this, que a Nayara falou, né? Last week
Yeah.
I'm participating in a meet with Indians, and
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
she talked about that.
understand nothing.
Yeah, it's because it's hard to know about the different accents. Yeah,
It's very fast.
yeah, it's very fast. Yeah, it's true. So I really like about that, because sometimes the person told, oh, you don't have you are fluent. It's hard to be fluent, because sometimes it's not just talk like American English. We have a different accents in the world. Yeah, so we can, when you have a English, like a simple English, are you able to talk with or have a communication with other person? Yeah, it's not necessary. You, in my opinion, guys, you have a lot of vocabulary. Do you know about all the words in the world? It's not necessary. When you can to have the good communication in the using the simple English, yeah, the play English. It's possible. So what do you think about the David, can you read the question number 3 and answer for us, please?
How does being bilingual improve cognitive abilities such as problem solving and multitasking? Multitasking or multitasking?
Yeah, it's like to do a lot of things in the same time. What do you think? To be a bilingual, can you improve your ability to resolve the problems or not? Like in your job, do you use the English when you are work? Yeah?
I use English, but
Yeah?
I need to improve listening and speaking.
Yeah. But do you think when you, for example, you don't know about this some word, and if you search the internet and that word can help you to solve some problem in the
Yes.
word? Yeah. So yeah, that's happened with me sometimes. What do you think, Eric? What do you think? To be a bilingual improve the cognitive abilities or not?
Um, Before starting a conversation, when I saw this video about bilingual brain, in this video, the woman told about uh, the ability the ability to talk in English or another language. You will preserve your brain about doenças degenerativas like Alzheimer or another. And okay, and this is good because we needed to constantly practice and constantly to care about ourselves and multitasking. Okay. Uh, when you understand the different idioms, you will understand new perspectives, like I said before, and you will create for me, I am a UX designer, and it is necessary because I needed different points of view in different contexts, and it is facilitating to create products, to create features, to create
Yeah.
a new perspectives in product and new perspectives in a service. And okay, this is for me, but another job, another professional, it will be contributed for working for ourselves, like personally. And this is it.
Yeah, perfect. I totally agree with you because when you start to talk in English, you can improve or enhance the communication, and it's really it's become easy to understood what happened in the other minds, for example. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And for me, guys, I told for us, I have one experience when I start to, for example, watching movies in English and with a subtitle in English, for example. And oh my gosh, I can understood that part. It's I was fascinated about that, yeah, because before it's not possible. At the beginning, it's so hard to learn in English and read in Portuguese, for example. But nowadays, it's like my mind, it's very comfortable to understand the two things at the same time. So I think it's like a improve my cognitive part, yeah, in my mind, for example. And at my work, it's really important because sometimes the pilot call me in English, yeah, and I feel a little comfortable to talk nowadays in English. And I have one it's like a example, and because all the meetings, yeah, when I'm a host or when I participated like a talker, I need to introduce myself. Okay, David, all the meets we start to introduce yourself. And there was one day that I start to introduce myself and was so natural that I when I finish, oh my gosh, I told it in Portuguese or in English because for me it was very not natural because all the every meeting I introduce myself, and one day I realized was so natural, and I want to be like that in the future and have a conversation in English, yeah, and like it will be a conquer in my life when I forgot the word in Portuguese. It just reminding in English, for example. It's like the best part of my day. And I believe that it's possible. It's just to training. And nowadays we have a lot of device to improve that. Yeah. For example, in my cell phone I use in English, and all the videos I try to learn in English and something like that. Yeah. And
About
go
films,
ahead.
my first film totally in English is Oxygen. It's available on Netflix. It's about a woman that discover what the place has been, and the end of the movie, it's completely blowing mind. It really blowing mind. I don't would say what the contest, but I recommend this movie.
Oxygen.
Yeah, it's available on Netflix.
Okay. Because talk about communication.
Yeah, because it's my first movie in totally English, in the audio and the subtitle.
Okay. Yeah, I will watch
understand. And I understand. I think it's 60% or 70%.
Yeah.
I really proud of me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing situation. Like, yeah, when you realize, okay, I can understand in English. Of course, you don't. It's not possible to understand all the words, but you can understand the situation, the environment. Yeah, and sometimes you start learning the word, the vocabulary just for the context. It's amazing. What do you think, Nayara, about that? What can to be a bilingual improve your cognitive abilities, for example?
First, I just want to say that you said about talk about yourself, and Davi, you will never have trouble if you stay here and talk. You will never have trouble to talking about yourself again, because you do this every time that you are here and you need to talking about yourself. It's really good. About the question, I worked in the last year. I work in a company that provides outsourced service. I was responsible for the financial management of 12 customers, like 12 clients in the same time. So English didn't help me with that because I already had that skill, to multitask and these things and do many things in the same time. So like in my private life, I have to take care of the house, my dogs, because my dogs are my children, so I treat my dogs like my children. So I need to leave my dogs in the veterinary and these things, and I need to go for a walk with my dogs, and I need to solve many problems by myself, because I'm married. I have a husband, but my husband, it's a firefighter, and he works a lot. And I don't know how I can say this, but the most of time ele tá de plantão. So I need
in
to.
the duty, I think it's like, I'm sorry, it's just because I use that in my job.
No problem. It's right. Thank you. And I think it's because that I need to solve the problems, the things by myself, So for me, it's easier. And when I start to study in English, I pay for a private teacher to learn about grammar and these things. But I think what makes different to improve my English was that I studied by myself because I really wanted, and I studied every day. And I think this makes different when we talking about improve the abilities, you really need to want these things, because sometimes, I just want to learn English because I want to get a better job and these things, but you don't like it, and I think it's so hard to understand something, whatever, maybe English or another thing. But when you really don't want to learn this thing, it's so hard, and I think it's not a good idea to do it, because we will spend a lot of time, and I think it was not so good for you. So maybe you don't like English, but you can learn another language, and I think it's better, you know. We know that English is the I forget the word. You know, I think it's that, and I think it's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought in the past, like at the beginning when I start to learn English, I don't like to learn English. I don't need that, and it's not necessary. But when I start to realize the English, it's really important. It's not a problem in my life. It's just a challenge, because it's like I have some emotional problems like to learn English. Yeah, but nowadays I know it's just like when you are a disciplined person, and when you have an environment like an English environment, for example, it's become easy. Yeah, it's nowadays it's really good to me talking English. It's like my moment, yeah, to learning. So it's my way. So I will try to continue learning something. And I don't know, maybe the connection. No, the connection, etiquette, yeah, it's poor. But guys, let me give me a moment. Just I will try to put all the guys in here again, the main room. And by the way, Davi, I will put here the link for the TNT, because if you want to know more about that, yeah, we have a lot of conversation, and it's really, really good. I really love that place, yeah. So I will put here, guys, again. I'm sorry, it's a little confused. It's because I lose my time, but I will put here the link for survey, yeah. Please give me some feedback about the conversation, about the subject. And let me put here the link for survey. It's just for feedback. Let me put here. Yeah, I will bring the other guys for the conversation. And Davi, I hope you enjoyed the conversation, yeah, and participated in the other. Don't worry about if you are afraid to say something. Just enjoy the conversation, because that helped me a lot. Okay, and Eric can come in, but I think it's not possible. And guys, thank you for the moment. I don't know if the other guys come back. I'm a little lost in the moment. Let me try. Yeah. Okay, Eric, it's coming again. And yeah. Hello, Eric. Was your connection?
It's my computer. I have
Okay.
had a problem with that.
Yeah. Hello, guys. How was the conversation? I'm sorry, I don't pass all the message at the beginning, but how was the conversation, Deborah?
It was great.
Are you okay?
It was great. This is very funny. Speaking with Bruna and Felipe. Have a lot of funny subjects about the talks.
Yeah, it was really good, the conversation. How was the conversation, Bruna?
I agree with Deborah. I loved this moment because it's not English. It's a different experience about the language.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I know. So the conversation in the main room was amazing. Eric, Nayara, and Davi bring a lot of different experience. And thank you guys for the conversation. I put in the chat, I will put again the link for Surveil, Surveil, and send me some feedbacks, and thank you for the conversation. I will be here the next Friday, 7 a.m. And David, return, okay? And let's practice the language, the conversation. Okay, guys, have a nice day. And what's that?